there guys, and welcome back to the channel. As always, thank you so much for being here. We have some explosive, massive, huge news to talk about right now. The biggest box office weekend ever for Thanksgiving has just happened, which is incredible. It goes to show that the box office trajectory just keeps going up and up and up. The movie-going experience is not dead. The biggest Thanksgiving box office weekend ever. This is great news. So let's dive into this article. Let's break down this news. Let's see which movies have done really well at the box office this weekend. And let's have a look into those numbers and kind of break down this information here. So this comes to us from comicbookmovie.com. Moana 2, Wicked, and Gladiator 2 give theaters the biggest Thanksgiving weekend in box office history. So as a movie fan, things like this is absolutely amazing to hear. It's great to hear that the cinematic going experience is not dying out. It seems that we consistently keep breaking records when it comes to movies, when it comes to box office, which is great. I want more people to go and support movies. I want more movies being made. So news like this as a movie fan is a welcome piece of news, put it that way. So let's go down and get into this information. So the latest box office numbers are in for what's shaping up to be the biggest Thanksgiving weekend in history. Thanks to movies like Moana 2, Wicked, and Gladiator 2, you can find details right here. So following the biggest Black Friday ever at the North American box office with an estimated 108 million, 54.5 million was contributed by Disney animation Moana 2. Business looks incredibly strong over the Thanksgiving weekend. So obviously here in the UK, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving, so it's not that important here in the UK. But obviously in the biggest box office region in the world, which is North America, absolutely huge. That's where the majority of the box office comes from. And yeah, it looks like Thanksgiving there has been huge. It looks like people have gone out in droves with their family, with their friends over Thanksgiving to go and watch a movie, have a great time, kick back and relax. It's always great to hear that people are enjoying the movies, that's for sure. So 5-day estimates from the Moana sequel have raised to 215 million, 215 million to 220 million, I should say. Its 3-day haul is expected to be around 140 million, the second best debut of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's career, after Fast and Furious 7's 147.1 million opening. Moana 2 has also set a 5-day Thanksgiving record, beating the Super Mario Bros. Movie at 204.6 million. And we all know how big that movie ended up being. It crossed the $1 billion mark. It made crazy amounts at the box office. So it looks like Moana 2 could be on the same trajectory to join that $1 billion club, which would be kind of crazy. That would be great. So the other two big movies contributing to this record-breaking haul are Wicked and Gladiator 2. The former is eyeing 118 million over 5 days, ensuring it's broken a few records of its own. After the movie's success, the expectation is that we'll see a greater number of musicals brought to the big screen. To be honest, as someone who's not a fan of musicals, I really hope that the box office doesn't get flooded with musicals. It's really not my kind of thing. Watching a movie and then seeing the characters break out into song and dance, I don't know, it's never been something that I've really enjoyed all that much. I know that there's a massive fan base for these kind of musicals. Obviously, look at High School Musical. That went absolutely crazy when it first debuted. So there is a big, huge fan base out there and a big majority of the movie-going audience that do love musicals. I get that. It's not something that's targeted towards me. I'm not the demographic for this. But I love it that people do enjoy these movies and that people are going out and supporting the box office. So that's great to hear, even if it's not necessarily for myself. And the studios might finally start marketing them as such. Joker Folie à Deux likely hasn't helped with the latter possibility, of course. Although people say that Joker Folie à Deux, Joker 2, was a musical, I don't really see it as such. I don't think it was a musical. In the typical way that you think of a musical, I don't see Joker Folie à Deux being that kind of musical. Yeah, there was a bit of singing in it, but I don't know if I would class it as the typical kind of musical that you would think of when you hear the term musical at the box office. So, as for the Gladiator sequel, that's set to make 45 million over the 5 days and is now closing in on 278 million worldwide to become the highest grossing movie of Denzel Washington's career. Really? 278 million worldwide is the highest grossing movie of Denzel Washington's career. Wow. So he's done all these movies over all these years in his career, and the highest movie he's ever had is 278 million worldwide. That's a new shock to me. I would have thought it would have been much higher than that. But fair play. You know, he's coming to the end of his career. He's talked about retiring. So if he's ending on a high note, that's a great thing to hear. However, that's a record we expect to be broken with Black Panther 3. Yeah, obviously, there's been news cycles about Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panther 3, wanting Denzel Washington for Black Panther 3. So if he does appear in that movie, that will then become the biggest grossing movie of his career. Black Panther 3 will do, you know, crazy amounts at the box office. Marvel movies always do. Overall, theaters are looking at a 422 million gross over Thanksgiving, a much needed boost after what's proven to be a relatively quiet year thanks to the last year's Hollywood strikes. Something we can now confidently say is that Disney CEO Bob Iger was right when he decided to shift Moana 2 from being a Disney Plus TV series to a theatrical release. Can you even imagine the trajectory that Moana 2 is on? It's doing absolutely massive business at the box office. It's breaking records, it's making like huge sums of money. And the fact that this was going to be a streaming release instead of a theatrical release, Disney would have been kicking themselves, it would have been crazy, and Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, he made the absolute right choice to switch it from a Disney Plus series to a theatrical release, because it looks like it's going to make a hell of a lot of money when all is said and done. But I think that's pretty much all the information that we have there when it comes to the Thanksgiving kind of box office. The rest of this is just kind of the cast list of Moana 2. Have a pause and read of that if you want to, guys. I'm not going to go through it and read the synopsis and cast list. I'm sure by now you know what the movie is about and you know who's in it. But if you don't, have a pause and read it at your own leisure, like I say. Obviously, Moana 2 is now playing in theaters. So if you're interested in Moana 2 or Wicked, two musicals there that you can go and enjoy at the cinema if you want to. And it's a great time to be a movie fan with those musicals kind of in cinemas at the moment. Do they class Moana 2 as a musical? I'm not sure if it is a musical. I know there's song numbers in it, but I'm not sure if it's classed as a musical. So if I'm mistaken on that front, do apologize. But yeah, so it looks like the biggest box office history when it comes to Thanksgiving. The biggest Thanksgiving box office history, I should say. Trying to get my words mixed up there. So yeah, it's great. It just goes to show that the box office continues to break records when it comes to, when it comes to its revenue, which is great to hear. And this is fantastic that people are going out, they're still supporting the cinematic going experience, which is exactly what we want. With all this kind of innovation in streaming and people staying at home watching movies on Netflix and Amazon and stuff like this, the theatrical model is still big, is still huge, people are still supporting it. So that's kind of what I take away from this. But guys, jump into the comment section. What here stands out to you? What surprises do you take from this news here? I would love to hear your thoughts on the biggest Thanksgiving box office on record now. This is great news. Thanks so much for watching as always. Be sure to go and hit that like button and become a subscriber of the channel if you haven't already, guys. It's free and you get to stay up to date with all the latest movie news and information that's in the pop culture zeitgeist at the moment. Thanks so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video.